This movie is going to be on the zoom functionality and some other display options. I'm going to show you the simplest way to zoom in on your worksheet, and then we'll take a look at the zoom slider bar and some zoom presets, and we'll show you the zoom functionality in the zoom command group on the view tab. And then for the other display options, we can turn off the ruler, which is an option on the page layout view. We can turn off the grid lines, the formula bar, the headings, and we can also hide and unhide the entire workbook. So zooming in and out on your worksheet. I've got a worksheet just with some content to use to display some of the zoom settings. The easiest way to zoom in and out on your worksheet, which you might find necessary from time to time to increase the legibility and the readability of your content, press and hold the Control key and roll the scroll wheel on the mouse. I'm advancing it one notch at a time, at least on my wheel, and I'm increasing and then decreasing the zoom setting by 15% every time I do that. Getting back to 100%. There's also some zoom functionality on the status bar, so we can grab the zoom slider bar by left-clicking it and manually moving it one direction or another. We can also double-click the percent to open up the zoom dialog box, which has presets. You can go to 200, 100, 75, and so on. One of the options on here is Fit Selection. I'll left-click that and say OK. And my selection, the active cell or the active range, will be displayed up to a maximum size of 400%. The same functionality exists on the zoom group in the View tab. I can get back to 100% very quickly by left-clicking 100%. I can left-click zoom and get the same presets that we just saw. Canceling out of that, I can also zoom to selection like we just did. So there are other view options that we have that we can turn off and on in the Show group on the View tab. And the first one, the ruler, is grayed out because that's only in effect when you're in the page layout view. I can have the ruler displayed, or I can left-click and clear that checkbox to have the ruler not be displayed. I'm going to left-click and display it again. And again, I'm in the page layout view. I'm going to go back to the normal view. And when you go to the page layout view, Excel automatically inserts page breaks. That's what we see to the right of column I and column R. There's a way to get rid of those, and that was shown in another movie. I'm going to leave them there for now. We can also choose to display or not the grid lines. Clearing that checkbox provides a much cleaner look to your workbook. If people are going to be viewing information in your workbook and you're going to send it to them, many times it's a good idea to clear the grid lines because visually it displays a little cleaner. I'm going to turn the grid lines back on and clear the checkbox on the formula bar where we can choose to display the formula bar or not. And I can also clear the checkbox on the heading so that the headings are not displayed any longer. If you're demonstrating something directly out of the workbook, out of Excel itself, you could clear all of these boxes and also press Control F1 to hide the ribbon itself, thus providing a much cleaner look to the worksheet. And hiding the ribbon was discussed in another movie as well. I'm going to press Control F1 to redisplay the ribbon. And as you're working with your workbook, there's one last setting that's part of the content of this movie, and that is that you can hide the whole workbook. In the Windows group, left-click Hide, and this way you can have workbooks open but not clutter up your screen with the workbooks, but they're easily accessible by left-clicking Unhide, where you will get a list of the hidden workbooks, which for us it's just book 1. Select the one that you want to unhide, left-click OK, and we get our workbook back. So that was the zoom settings and other display options. We used Control and the mouse wheel, which is the easiest way to zoom in and out on your worksheet. You can also use the slider bar that's on the status bar. We pulled up some zoom presets where we were able to zoom to a selection on the worksheet and zoom up to 400%. The same functionality is available in the zoom command group on the View tab, We were able to turn off the ruler, which is a functionality that's associated with the page layout view. We could turn off the grid lines, the formula bar, and the headings, and we can even hide and unhide the entire workbook.